Are we going to have an election where even, where you the votes come through, there are some legal battles, but ultimately they count and we're like, that's it? Or is it going to be a dispute where everyone's fighting and arguing in the streets?
I think that's what it is.
I lean towards your line of thinking. So there'll be an election, is what I'm saying. The votes will be counted. And then just like 2020, there's going to be widespread dispute.
Here's why I don't think there's going to be people in the streets. Because there weren't people in the streets during COVID. So Americans
What are you talking about? There were.
Hold on. I
Black
know
Lives Matter.
The BLM people. What I'm saying is a lot of the lockdowns and the pushback was far less than if you had sat us all down, I think everyone in this room, and it was 2019, and you said, all right, if these state governments are going to make it that you're not allowed to leave your house for 2 weeks for what a lot of people think is no reason, are the American people going to stand for this, or is there going to be violence? We would have all said they're never going to be able to get away with it, but they did. So
I disagree.
Okay, let me hear you.
So why did people riot like crazy all over the country? We joke, we call it the 529 insurrection. Now, on the surface, the media says Black Lives Matter. But as we've discussed in great detail, the real reason people in New York were rampaging through the streets was because they were locked inside and they had gone insane. And then their anger was directed towards some random cause. So you had the famous story where a guy calls 911 after people were ransacking his building. Ransacking his apartment building had nothing to do with BLM. He called the police and said, they're breaking into my building. What do I do? And they said, sir, the city is under attack. What would you have us do? On the surface, everybody said it was BLM. But the real anger that was within people was because they had been isolated. They were getting sickly from lack of vitamin D, malnourishment, and then a catalyst sparked it off and they went nuts.
Tim, I don't think there was as much anti-COVID pushback in the anti-COVID populations and areas as I would have expected in 2019.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree with the idea that Republicans and conservatives who were complaining didn't do anything else.
That's all I'm saying.
But I believe the real reason for the mass unrest was not George Floyd. That was just a spark to give an excuse to people who are losing their mind.
I don't think
Think about it, though. They bust in people and paid them, left piles and pallets of bricks and stuff. They brought in their operatives and took advantage.
We don't know that's true.
Yes, it is true, because it was all over the news. They'd find
people were posting old photos of construction sites and then claiming that they were just placed there, but that's just internet conjecture.
Tim, you had a large...
but I saw a lot of stuff on the internet.
I see some things
that would, like January 6th, suggest to me that there were operatives who took advantage and were being bussed in and paid to aggravate bad situations.
So you think the riots were not people pushing back against COVID lockdowns?
I think there were people... Yeah, I think there was all that. I think there was that, and I think there were aggravators added to it.
What about Ferguson? No one was locked in their homes during Ferguson, and there was riots for a long time. Baltimore is another one. So
Ferguson was not this, so in the 529 George Floyd area was some of the worst riots we've seen in decades.
Sure.
It happened all over the country.
Right.
At the same time, and even in small cities that people never covered. Michael Tracy famously went down to these cities. That was unprecedented. What? When Michael Brown was killed, we didn't see rioting to that degree outside of Ferguson. It was just Ferguson.
Which is exactly my point. It didn't come from the grassroots. It did not come from the grassroots.
These people...
Michael Brown was all in the media too.
Because...
It didn't come from the grassroots. It came from agitators, and they were paid.
I don't know. My point is, people who turn on their TVs, who have been angry for a very long time, who've been taught that things are shitty for them, that they should be angry, so on and so forth, saw that they could go out and manifest their anger and not only have no consequences, but will be lauded for it.
I agree.
So that's going to encourage a lot of people who don't have to lose their minds.
I agree with you. Yes. And what I'm saying is the anger was not because of Black Lives Matter, a small component. Their anger was because people were locked in their apartments and couldn't leave. They were becoming dejected, angry, and vicious, and then they said, hey, you're angry at this, and they were like, I can go outside and be angry now, and they let it all out.
I can see that being part of it too. Yeah, I can see that being a part of it, but I think that the owners of this country saw an opportunity to burn down small businesses.
Yes.
Burn down small businesses and hurt neighborhoods that they had already targeted anyway with big corporate fascism is what it is.
I've said this before, and I want to say it to get your guys' reaction. 529. Far left extremists tore down the barricades of the White House, injuring 70 plus police officers, set fire to a guard post, set fire to St. John's Church, forced the president into a bunker. If Donald Trump ordered the police to stand down, he would be president today.
Ordered the police to stand down?
Yep. On 5/29/2020, if Donald Trump ordered the police, if Bill Barr, whoever, ordered the police in D.C. to stand down and let the far left do whatever they want, we would not be talking about January 6th.
Yeah, but
we'd be talking about the torching of the White House.
But then
we would have had the White House torched.
What would have happened?
There's also some downsides, I guess.
Well, so my point is this:
and
Donald Trump does not understand politics, strategy, culture war, conflict, etc. January 6th, the police are taking selfies with people. It becomes the insurrection. If these extremists burned down St. John's Church, if they tore the fences down, if they actually breached the White House, Trump would come out and say, we had fear that innocent people would be harmed if we advanced and engaged in active conflict in the streets of D.C. We decided the smartest thing to do would be to save personnel and back off. I'm sorry, America. Far left extremists have destroyed elements of D.C. in our government, and that would have justified Insurrection Act or other actions.
That's what bothers me about January 6th,
I
man.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like letting people destroy your home just to get political, to play the victim and be like, oh, look what they did.
Don't nobody live at the Capitol.
Look, right. So the issue is this. Donald Trump stopped the 529 insurrection.
Wait a minute. Okay, let me ask this. Why do you think they put up all those barricades and barbed wire fences around D.C.?
Are you talking about before January 6th or afterwards?
After.
Afterwards was as a show of force. To basically intimidate the American people.
Tim, I would agree with you.
Why was everything facing in and not out?
What do you mean?
Why were the fences facing in towards the Capitol?
I don't think that's true.
It's like American
we
bureaucracy.
we have people who come from DC all the time. That was not something anyone ever said, and we never saw it.
The thing
I'll
about
show you the
529, I
pictures.
would agree with you more if the media weren't, especially at that time, so invested in scripting a narrative that was only tangentially related to reality. And I think you remembered, everyone here, hold on, let me finish my point, remembers very vividly that we were told that COVID's a problem, you have to stay in your house, and then as soon as these riots hit off, you have to be in the streets protesting, and you're going to be immune from COVID.
And there's a limit. There is a limit that regular Americans can withstand.
I don't think Trump standing down would have hit that limit. I'm sorry.
If they ripped the fencing down at the White House and burned down St. John's Church was on fire.
Yeah,
and
it
they
was.
stopped it. If they didn't, it would have burned to the ground.
But then
and
they would have
and
won.
then people.
But then they would have won.
And this they did win. So the issue is this. Do you think like the CIA? I'll put it this way. I was talking to Occupy Wall Street activists back 12 years ago, and I said, "Do you think that let's say it's feudal Japan? The ninja warrior walks up to the front gates and knocks on the emperor's door and say, 'We hereby demand the emperor stand down.'"
Yeah, he says, I'm the one who knocks.
Or does the ninja dress like a servant, sneak in the middle of the night, drops a few poisons to the emperor, and then sneak out? In warfare, it's surreptitious, it's espionage, it's manipulation, it's psychological conflict in warfare. My point is this: nobody should be violent. January 6th should have never have happened. 529 should not have happened. My point is, whether you care, it has nothing to do with what should or shouldn't happen. It has to do with the logical steps of what does happen. On January 6th, people stormed into the Capitol. The media then showed all of these images and said insurrection, violence breaking out, people fighting, and that terrifies people who don't pay attention.
Sure.
If on 529 they did the same thing and had the police taking selfies with protesters and letting them ransack, the media can try, and that is an advantage that the establishment has, but there is a limit. St. John's Church being burnt to the ground, guard posts being burned, the president being locked in his bunker for 2 days.
They burned down police stations and no one cared because they weren't discussed.
That's not true that no one cared. Black Lives Matter went from its highest approval rating ever to its lowest point ever following those
No one
riots.
cared to the point that it would have made a difference in having Trump reelected.
I think
you're wrong.
May 29, all it takes is like an ABC article that says Trump let them burn the White House down, and that would have just wrecked his chances.
Yes,
Well,
there you
some
go.
people
Yeah,
I disagree.
Some people
everything
say,
bad is Trump's fault.
No, some people say this where you're really going to think I'm crazy. But some people say that Trump signed a thing on December 18th called continuation. I'm sorry. Some people say, a lot of them, military people, and believe I actually stick my nose in military business, that Trump signed a thing on December 18th, continuation of government, and that we are under limited martial law right now already.
None of that stuff's true.
Well, how do you know?
Mostly because I go to the store.
Because he's deep state.
Yeah,
no, go on.
He's controlled opposition. Come on, Roseanne.
I'll show you on the military. I'll show you on the U.S. military sites that I read.
I'll start from the beginning. First, we can talk about the NDAA indefinite detention authorization.
I believe that they were all arrested.
Oh no.
I believe that they took everybody out.
Here we go. Oh no.
Never happened.
That they're playing their parts, and that we're going to see military tribunals by the end of this year. I believe it.
You want to bet another 1,000? So the military tribunals will be public?
They already have happened.
Will they be public by the end of the year?
Yes.
You want to bet another $1,000?
Roseanne, I like
$1,000 on that too.
Okay, so $1,000 that there will be no public military tribunals.
No, I'm saying there will be.
And I'm saying there's not the bet. That's the
limited military tribunals will be shown by the end of this year.
And I'm saying no. So will you bet $1,000?
No, it's only like 4 months.
I'll bet $1,000 on that.
Okay, here we go. Do the hand thing.
I love
4 months.
I love Roseanne's optimism.
I guess when you have Roseanne money, you can just make these bets and you don't care.
Is that a joke?
Listen, it's not because
we have the video clips here.
I can show you clips.
This is why I brought her, so I can be rich.
I can show you clips and all kinds of stuff that you've never even seen. I can show you stuff. But I'll tell you why I believe it, because I read The Art of War, and I know that Trump's a badass, and he's not going to let any of them get away with anything. And he locked up Cheyenne Mountain, and they can't get at it. Too bad.
How do you know that?
Because it's all in the declassified documents.
Cheyenne Mountain is locked up, you say?
Be nice.
Trump locked up
Be nice to
Cheyenne
Roseanne
Mountain.
Barr, Tim Pool.
No, I don't mind.
Let me tell you my favorite thing ever is we were watching a flat Earth video last week.
I don't
2 weeks
believe
ago.
the Earth is
I'm not
flat.
saying you do.
It's an oval.
And my favorite thing,
spheroid, actually.
my favorite thing ever.
It's a cube, you idiot.
Okay, every single diehard flat earther says, "Why can't we travel to Antarctica?"
Yes,
strange,
we can.
isn't it? Exactly.
But the hell
and I'm like, what are you talking about? I know people who went there.
Metallica went there.
Joel Runyon
They just
did
make it up.
That's what that thing was going for, the Titanic deal. It was trying to get to Antarctica.
The Pentagon
Wrong
reactivated Cheyenne
hemisphere.
Mountain in 2020
What
when did Trump lock it up? This is where they have the
Before
Stargate.
he
Turn
by
the
the
screen
way.
for her so she could see.
Before he left.
This is where they have the Stargate.
What's
by the
in
way.
it? Oh.
This is where the Stargate is.
Go the headline so she could see, yeah.
This is 2020.
Joshua's in it.
When did Trump lock it down?
In 21.
Trump wasn't president in 21.
Yeah, he was, the first week.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yep, you are absolutely correct.
On January 20th.
Or the first month, whatever it was.
Cheyenne Mountain.
You can't trust Google. They're controlled opposition.
This is like underground research facility, Cheyenne Mountain.
Look.
It's called the DUM, Deep Underground Military Base.
The dumb.
I'm making so much money.
I was just in Colorado Springs. They were probably in those mountains. That's
Look
where
at-
NORAD
look-
command is. We drove by there.
Look under DUM.
Why is it up so high?
First
DUMB.
do Cheyenne Mountain.
Look under DUMB.
No,
Dumb.
first do Cheyenne Mountain.
I did search for it. There's nothing there. Nothing comes up. And okay, you can make the argument Google's hiding it, but
Yeah, they are.
okay. So
And
when
that's
people come out and say
when Putin gave, remember when Putin gave Trump the soccer ball?
when was that? No.
Wake up!
What?
Remember when they
Wake
met?
up.
Google when Putin gave Trump the soccer ball. And go,
Oh, there we go. Yeah, 2018.
Aha!
Wow, it's 5 years ago.
Well, she still got you. Shouldn't have bet her that never happened.
Now this
I didn't say it
says,
didn't happen. I said when was that? Oh, right.
Putin
I
has
lose
the
one.
electronic.
I got
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Diplomacy.
That's over there in Cheyenne Mountain. Check that out.
I've got an article from Daily Mail says, why is the U.S. military moving back into Stargate Base deep under the Rocky Mountains a
What
decade
date?
after it was abandoned? But this is from 2015.
Right.
Yeah, that's when it
Look,
started, 2015.
There are a lot of things we don't know about. There's a lot of things the government is doing we don't
There's
know
nothing
about.
I don't know about, honey. I am a nosy old Jewish woman, and I can get in anywheres. You
I
know
believe
what?
it.
One thing is when you're as famous and damn good looking as me, Tim. I can stick my nose in anybody's business. I know how. I'm a grandmother, and I have stuck my nose in the thick of it this time.
Was Michael Jackson guilty what they accused him of?
I'm talking about Cheyenne Mountain.
I'm
hunting.
talking
We're talking about that.
Yeah,
That's
and
some
come on,
change.
you got.
I know
So-
a lot of military people, and I do think that the people in America, they're in for a big old wake-up call.
Sick.
Things
Back
are
to Michael
gonna
Jackson.
4 months.
Things
Dude,
are going to get
4
way
months.
worse before they get better, but you better wake up, because
Wake up!
wake up and snap out of it, people. You got a lot of work to do.
I could imagine deep fake technology unleashed on the humans. Like there's stuff called talking plasma that the military is working on, where they'll triangulate lasers and then create a ball of plasma. They'll move it around on a radar. It looks like a UFO. And they can project sound through the thing.
I got one sentence. Roseanne.
They can clone people.
Roseanne, hold on. One sentence. Will you please have Ian on your podcast?
I'd love to.
'Cause
I want to talk to you about that stuff.
I wanna pull up-
Antarctica.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.